congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
You've been able to show it a few times since the London Film Festival. Has each screening become easier to watch again, or the experience been better as you go along?
It's been different every time, and that's intriguing. I mean, we showed it at the Rome Film Festival where it was closing the festival there. And of course that was the first time I'd seen an audience watching it with subtitles. And you felt them leaning in towards the story, studying that bit more, not necessarily getting all the English humour, but getting the humanity of the film in the same way. And the response was phenomenal. I mean, the overwhelming emotion at the end of the film. So if we're managing to tell the story that moves people like that, then I start to relax.
In terms of making it, obviously it's a story, you have to, as part of your job, to make it kind of cinematic and everything else. We've seen there's so many social media clips of the Esther Rantzen show from back in the day. In terms of you as a director, what was the key thing to making it cinematic for you?
Well, in that moment, it was making it the story that belongs to the character, that belongs to Nicky. I mean, what we've seen on YouTube is shot from pedestal cameras in the studio. If you like, it's the living room point of view. What I did was travel into the studio with Nicky, so the camera's on Tony's shoulder. He goes into this alien world for him, and you're not quite sure how he's going to react to it. When he meets one of the kinder sat next to him, instead of looking at it from Esther's point of view, if you like, you've got cameras tucked over his shoulder, so you feel the intimacy and the relationship. So I think it was quite important to find a way that told the story from the character point of view that was more emotional and that could add to what we would otherwise see on YouTube.
Yeah. I spoke to a lot of directors over the years, and they've said between sort of 80%, 90% casting, if you get that right, most of your job is done. With this, you've got a phenomenal cast led by Sir Anthony. Yeah. What did he bring to it that kind of helped you elevate the material even more so than you had before you got him on board?
Well, 70 years of career for a start and experience. He's just got that wonderful ability to withhold, to be so restrained. We talked early on about what our keywords were going to be for the film, and restraint was one of them. We felt it's such an emotional story, so how could you play that without going into big melodramatic emoting? I mean, he's the master of that. I mean, he just has to stand by the window, look out to the countryside, and you know the pain he's feeling. So really it's about his understated brilliance and frankly his joy for filmmaking. He would sit on the edges of the set while people were rigging and getting track ready. He doesn't necessarily want to disappear into the background. He just loves the process. Yeah.
And it seems to be one of those films that was a bit more of an education lesson for me. I can imagine for older audiences, they'd get something out of it. And for younger audiences, it is very much a history lesson and where we've come from, the things we've had to overcome to get where we are today.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think that's why we have to give a little bit of context at the beginning of the film, to as little as possible. I don't ever want it to be a history lesson, but you need to know the world he's inhabiting. What's rather tragic at the moment is that I think we'll feel the echoes and we'll be able to decode what that world might be like all too easily.
Yeah. And you're just about to go back to work. The strike's over. You've got your.
I start shooting on Thursday.
How is the experience of all the strike going on? You've had a film, because I think you were in production and you had to stop. And I think it's a very strange time. But you're getting back to work with Rami and all those guys, because the film already has got a lot of people talking about it even before you finished it.
Let's hope. But I mean, we were 29 days into a 58-day shoot when the strike struck. Obviously, it gives you a little bit of time to live with the movie, to think about it a bit more. You've started to shoot it. You've started to breathe life into it. So I hope that's going to be valuable. Going back into prep again feels a little bit like being sent back to the starting blocks. But we start shooting next week, and it's going to go very fast.
Fantastic. We look forward to that, and good luck with this movie as well. Thanks so much for your time. Pleasure. You as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!